Good morning, it's Alea, and I'm including now things about creating and keeping business going. This is B.O.S.S Chronicles, and I had an incident that happened this morning that made me feel like, I need to pass this information along as well. 2 years ago when I opened the gallery, I had an abundance of artists because always there's people that are very creative, but they're not very good at sitting someplace waiting for somebody to come and buy their stuff. So there were a lot of artists that were very much wanting to come into the gallery, and being Ms. Eager Beaver, yes woman that I am, everyone who showed up, I said, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And actually I had somebody warn me that you're going to be saying oh no pretty soon, and that did happen. So this is the story. 2 years ago I had one artist who was very good at what she did. She was very talented. She did several different mediums, and she brought a lot of stuff to the gallery to put in for sale. She was not particularly easy to get along with, but she was okay. She was an artist and she's talented, and that's just the way it is with artists, or so I thought. And I called her because a customer had a special request. Now, mind you, she just lives on the other side of the island, so we're not talking very far away. And she charged the customer, and ostensibly me, which rolls over to the customer, she charged $25 to do a special shipment, okay? And would not budge on that, wouldn't give the customer any kind of a break, wouldn't give the gallery any kind of a break, wouldn't include any other things, any other merchandise in the shipment. She was really like hardline about it. My response to that, which I didn't even think about until later, was I stopped pushing her product. I stopped being, she wasn't the go-to person anymore. She wasn't the place where, when people would say, oh, I need this, I'd go, oh, take a look over here. She wasn't that anymore. And eventually, I actually pulled her things out of the lineup altogether and gave them back to her, and she's no longer with the gallery. There was another artist who only sent a few things. She lived on another island, but when I called her because a customer had a special request, she got stuff here the next day. I mean, she was on it. She was like, oh yes, I'll send it right out. And I said, well, how much is this going to cost? And she said, well, nothing, I mean, I have to get product to you. So she became the artist that I recommended when people were looking for something special. I would recommend her. This went on for 2 years. I just called her this morning because she's my go-to girl, right? So I called her this morning, and because I had a special request from a customer yesterday, because she has a book in the gallery that has things that are available if I don't have them in stock. And so I called her this morning and I said, I've got this order for 3 pieces, and the customer, needs these in 5 days. Now, her response to me was, it's not worth it to me. What? Well, I'm used to selling bigger things, and, it's only 2 prints, so it's not worth it to me. Now, that may well have been the truth, and I'm sure it is. However, in the eyes of me, who is promoting her work, that takes her down a peg as far as who I'm going to recommend if a customer comes in and says, can you do this? I'm looking for this. Ostensibly, I had already sold 3 pieces of her work to this customer, and they wanted 2 more. Okay, so it should have been worth it to her. What she should have said, which would have still left her in the... Now, I'm not going to write her off, okay? That would be extreme. But what she should have said was, anything other than it's not worth it to me. She could have said, I'm off island, and so I'm not going to be able to fulfill it in the time frame that you need. I'm out of printer ink. I don't have the supplies. Supplies are coming in, but it's going to take a while. My computer is down. She could have given me any other excuse, any other reason other than it's not worth it to me. Because if it's not worth it to her to fill a small order, then it's probably not going to be worth it to me to push her product in order to get a big order. So for those of you who are creating the little businesses, I call it the gratitude effect. Every sale means something. Every sale counts. Every customer counts. So what if they only spend $1? So what if they only spend $5? So what if they spend $5,000? Every customer counts. Now, by the same token, if the customer is rude, nasty, mean, hard to deal with, or whatever, you don't have to put up with rudeness. But if the customer is nice and you want to continue to have customers, then every customer counts. There isn't one that is too much trouble. There isn't one that, oh, it's not worth it to me. So I just want to kind of, reiterate that every customer is important, every customer is valid, and every sale is money in your pocket. I think a lot of times when the economy gets tight and whatnot, people forget. They forget that pennies make dollars, and whatever those other cliches are. But all of them are important, and every customer is important. So I want to remind you to remember that whenever a customer, a client, a patron asks you for anything, you don't ever tell them it's not worth it. You can give them any other excuse. You're sick, your computer's down, you don't have the supplies, it's raining, I don't care. Anything other than it's not worth it to me, because what that says is I don't care about you. And hopefully you do care. And so I hope this little suggestion has been of help, and I'm wishing you a fabulous, prosperous day and week and month. Give me a